us in the vertical stream if they can't make it back here to this one. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm just going to open with a prayer before we get started. I'm doing okay. I had to take my brother, it's about an hour and 15-minute drive away to his eye appointment. They put needles in his eyes, and we have to go do that once a month. And then the drive back, so that took up most of my day. Okay, Father God, we come before you tonight, and we ask that you just guide this stream to where it needs to go, Lord. Help it to find people who need some love and somebody to pray with them and to hear your word. I ask that you help my voice to be clear. You help to keep trolls away and just help us to make a difference in somebody's life tonight, Lord. Help the live to go smooth and just be with us here tonight, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. He has glaucoma and cataracts, and they have to get it healed to a certain level before they're able to do the surgery. So every month they put these injections in his eyeballs to try and heal them and lower the pressure and prevent them from popping, I guess. And then once it gets healed to a certain point, then he'll be able to have the surgery. So, yeah. Okay. I am going to take a drink, and then we are going to get going. Is the image working? Oh, it was hidden. There, now you guys should be able to see the media actually doing its thing. Well, he was having to do it twice a month now because it wasn't really healing, and it was a little bit better today. So, I don't know, probably a few more months, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, and here we go. 1 Samuel chapter 5, finally. Now the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it to the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. Then the Ashdodites arose early the next morning, and behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of Yahweh. So they took Dagon and set him in his place again. But they arose early the next morning, and behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of Yahweh. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off on the threshold. Only the trunk of Dagon was left to him. Therefore, neither the priests of Dagon nor all who enter Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. Now the hand of Yahweh was glorious against the Ashdodites, and he made them desolate and struck them with tumors, both Ashdod and its territories. Thus the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, and said, the ark of the God of Israel must not remain with us, for his hand is severe on us and on Dagon our God. So they sent and gathered all the lords of the Philistines to them and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? And they said, let the ark of the God of Israel be brought around to Gath. And they brought the ark of the God of Israel around. Now it happened after they had brought it around that the hand of Yahweh was against the city with very great confusion. And he struck the men of the city, both young and old, so that tumors broke out on them. So they sent the ark of God to Ekron. And as the ark of God came to Ekron, the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought the ark of the God of Israel around us, to put us and our people to death. They sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines, and said, send away the ark of the God of Israel, and let it return to its own place, so that it will not put us and our people to death. For there was a deadly confusion throughout the city. The hand of God was very glorious there. Now the men who did not die were struck with tumors, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 5. Oh, hey, Rebel, you came back. Sorry about all that mess. My streaming software had an issue, and it took a while to figure out that it was the problem. But alas, I have returned. Lucky you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to take a drink, and then we will be reading 1 Samuel chapter 6. Okay. Now the ark of Yahweh had been in the fields of the Philistines 7 months, and the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, "What shall we do with the ark of Yahweh? Make us know how we shall send it to its place." So they said, "If you send away the ark of the God of Israel, do not send it empty, but you shall surely return to him a guilt offering. Then you will be healed, and it will be known to you why his hand is not turned away from you." Then they said, "What shall be the guilt offering which we shall return to him?" And they said, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines, for one plague was on all of you and on your lords. So you shall make likenesses of your tumors and likenesses of your mice that bring the land to ruin, and you shall give glory to the God of Israel. Perhaps he will ease his hand from you, your gods, and your land. Why then do you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts? When he had abused them, did they not allow the people to go, and they went? So now take and make a new cart and 2 milch cows on which there has never been a yoke, and hitch the cows to the cart, and take their calves home away from them. And take the ark of Yahweh and place it on the cart, and put the articles of gold which you return to him as a guilt offering in a box by its side. Then send it away that it may go. See if it goes up by the way on its own territory to Beth-Shemesh. Then he has done us this great evil. But if not, then we will know that it was not his hand that smote us. It happened to us by chance. Then the men did so, and took 2 milch cows and hitched them to the cart and shut up their calves at home. And they put the ark of Yahweh on the cart, as well as the box with the golden mice and the likenesses of their tumors. And the cows took the straight way in the direction of Beth-Shemesh. They went along the highway, lowing as they went, and did not turn aside to the right or to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them to the border of Beth-Shemesh. Now the people of Beth-Shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they raised their eyes and saw the ark, and were glad to see it. And the cart came into the field of Joshua the Beth-Shemite, and stood there, and a large stone was there, and they split the wood of the cart and offered the cows as a burnt offering to Yahweh. And the Levites took down the ark of Yahweh and the box that was with it, in which were the articles of gold, and put them on the large stone. And the men of Beth-Shemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrificed sacrifices that day to Yahweh. So the 5 lords of the Philistines saw it and returned to Ekron that day. Now these are the golden tumors which the Philistines returned for a guilt offering to Yahweh: 1 for Ashdod, 1 for Gaza, 1 for Ashkelon, 1 for Gath, 1 for Ekron, and the golden mice according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 lords, both of fortified cities and of country villages. The large stone on which they set the ark of Yahweh is a witness to this day in the field of Joshua the Beth-Shemite. Then he struck down some of the men of Beth-Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of Yahweh. He struck down of all the people 50,070 men, and the people mourned because Yahweh had struck the people with a great slaughter. And the men of Beth-Shemesh said, "Who is able to stand before Yahweh, this holy God? And to whom shall he go up from us?" So they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim, saying, "The Philistines have brought back the ark of Yahweh. Come down and take it up to you." And that was 1 Samuel chapter 2. Okay, so It looks like the stream is struggling. Oh, what is new? How are you doing tonight, Rebel? Okay, so we're going to be headed into First Samuel chapter 7. And the men of Kiriath Jearim came and brought the ark of Yahweh up and brought it into the house of Abinadab and on the hill, and set apart Eleazar his son as holy in order to keep the ark of Yahweh. Now it happened from the day when the ark remained at Kiriath Jearim that the time was long. It was 20 years. And all the house of Israel lamented after Yahweh. Then Samuel spoke to all the house of Israel, saying, If you are to return to Yahweh with all your heart, then remove the foreign gods and the Ashtaroth from among you, and set your hearts toward Yahweh, and serve him alone, and he will deliver you from the hand of the Philistines. So the sons of Israel removed the Baals and the Ashtaroth, and served Yahweh alone. Then Samuel said, Gather all Israel to Mizpah, and I will pray to Yahweh for you. And they gathered to Mizpah, and drew water, and poured it out before Yahweh, and fasted on that day, and said there, We have sinned against Yahweh. And Samuel judged the sons of Israel at Mizpah. What's up? Do I need to mute?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. My son needs me. Okay. Sorry about that. Hey, James. I'm so glad you're here. It's been a while. How was your day? Looks like the stream is starting to recover. Welcome to those just coming in. I had some major stream software issues at the beginning of the live there. I wish it had presented itself before the live began, but alas, it did not. Oh, no work tonight? Okay. Then the Philistines heard that the sons of Israel had gathered to Mizpah, and the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. Then the sons of Israel heard it, and were afraid of the Philistines. So the sons of Israel said to Samuel, Do not cease to cry out to Yahweh our God for us, that he may save us from the hand of the Philistines. Excuse me. And Samuel took a suckling lamb and offered it for a whole burnt offering to Yahweh. And Samuel cried out to Yahweh for Israel, and Yahweh answered him. Now Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, and the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But Yahweh thundered with a great thunder on that day against the Philistines, and confused them, so that they were defeated before Israel. So the men of Israel went out of Mizpah and pursued the Philistines, and struck them down as far as below Beth-kar. Oh yeah, it was sunny here, but there was rain through the sun. It was kind of pretty. I had to drive my brother an hour and 15 minutes each way to his eye appointment today. So I was out in the sunshine some. Then Samuel took a stone and set it between Mizpah and Shen, and he named it Ebenezer. And he said, Thus far Yahweh has helped us. You know what? I just realized I have to also open the other stream so I can see if anybody is commenting on the vertical stream. So give me just a moment and I will get that going. Okay. Oh, it looks like Carla is over here in this one now. All right. Sorry for those If I didn't respond to you, it was because I didn't have the chat open for this stream. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Then Samuel took a stone and set it between Mizpah and Shen, and he named it Ebenezer, and he said, "Thus far Yahweh has helped us." So the Philistines were subdued, and they did not come any more within the border of Israel. And the hand of Yahweh was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. And the cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel, from Ekron even to Gath. And Israel delivered their territory from the hand of the Philistines. So there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Thus Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life, and he used to go annually on circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah, and he judged Israel in all these places. But his return would be to Ramah, for his house was there, and there he judged Israel, and he built there an altar to Yahweh. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 7. I was referring to James. Yeah, always working, huh? Oh yeah, plenty of rain here, that's for sure. Pacific Northwest gets plenty of rain for everybody, I think. Okay. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm just going to drop some links in the pinned comment here as soon as I get them copied. Here we go. Okay, pin. And in this one too, so that if anybody wants to join the Discord or anything, the link is in that pinned comment for you. And if anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. We're headed into 1 Samuel chapter 8. Sorry, I had to get a frog out of my throat. I think it worked this time. That way I'm not just sitting here clearing my throat at you guys. Again, if anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. And it happened when Samuel was old that he appointed his sons judges over Israel. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abijah. They were judging in Beersheba. But his sons did not walk in his ways, but turned aside after greedy gain, and took bribes and caused justice to turn aside. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah, and they said to him, "Behold, you have grown old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint a king for us to judge us like all the nations." But the thing was evil in the sight of Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." And Samuel prayed to Yahweh. Then Yahweh said to Samuel, "Listen to the voice of the people in regard to all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them. Like all the deeds which they have done since the day that I brought them up from Egypt, even to this day, in that they have forsaken me and served other gods, so they are doing to you also. So now listen to their voice. However, you shall solemnly testify to them and tell them of the custom of the king who will reign over them." Oh, I'm glad you're there, Carla. I wasn't sure if you were staying. I know the other stream had some issues. So Samuel spoke all the words of Yahweh to the people who had asked of a king. Asked him of a king. Goodness, Katie, get it together. You know what? I was doing great until all of those computer issues. So Samuel spoke all the words of Yahweh to the people who had asked of him a king. And he said, "This will be the custom of the king who will reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself in his chariots and among his horsemen, and they will run before his chariots. And he will appoint for himself commanders of thousands and of fifties, and some to do his plowing and to reap his harvest and to make his weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will also take your daughters for perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and your vineyards and your olive groves and give them to his servants. He will take a tenth of your seed and of your vineyards and give it to his officers and to his servants. He will also take your male slaves and your female slaves and your best young men and your donkeys and use them for his work. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. Then you will cry out in that day because of your king whom you have chosen for yourselves, but Yahweh will not answer you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel, and they said, "No, but there shall be a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles." So Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he repeated them in the hearing of Yahweh. Then Yahweh said to Samuel, "Listen to their voice and appoint them a king." So Samuel said to the men of Israel, "Go every man to his city." And that was 1 Samuel chapter 8. Okay. Turn up my heat a little bit because it is a little bit chilly in here. Oh, yeah. I appreciate it, Carla. How was your day? Okay. I'm going to take a drink and then we will continue on reading. Oh, hey, Tanner. Welcome. How are you today? All right, so we're headed to 1 Samuel chapter 9. And I know the stream says that I'm reading to chapter 20, but we will see how it goes. Oh, and Rebel's over in the other one, too. Now there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiah, the son of a Benjamite, a mighty man of valor. Now he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice and handsome man, and there was not a more handsome person than he among the sons of Israel. From his shoulders and up he was taller than any of the people. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. So Kish said to his son Saul, "Take now with you one of the young men and arise, go search for the donkeys." Thus he passed through the hill country of Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they did not find them. Then they passed through the land of Shalem, but they were not there. Then he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they did not find them. They came to the land of Zuph, and Saul said to his young man who was with him, "Come and let us return, lest my father cease to be concerned about the donkeys and become anxious for us." But he said to him, "Behold now, there is a man of God in this city, and the man is held in honor. All that he says surely comes true. Now let us go there. Perhaps he can tell us about our journey on which we have gone." Then Saul said to his young man, "But behold, if we go, what shall we bring the man? For the bread is gone from our sack, and there is no present to bring to the man of God. What do we have?" And the young man answered Saul again and said, "Behold, I have in my hand a fourth of a shekel of silver. I will give it to the man of God, and he will tell us our way." Formerly in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, he used to say, "Come and let us go to the seer." For he who is called a prophet now was formerly called a seer. Then Saul said to his young man, "Your word is good. Come, let us go." So they went to the city where the man of God was. As they were going up the slope to the city, they found young women going out to draw water and said to them, "Is the seer here?" And they answered them and said, "He is. Behold, he is ahead of you. Hurry now, for he has come into the city today. for the people have a sacrifice on the high place today. As soon as you enter the city, you will find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat until he comes, because he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those who are invited will eat. So now go up, for you will find him at once. Excuse me. So they went up to the city. As they came into the city, behold, Samuel was coming out to meet them to go up to the high place. Now a day before Saul's coming, Yahweh had revealed this in Samuel's hearing, saying, About this time tomorrow I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be ruler over my people Israel, and he will save my people from the hand of the Philistines. For I have regarded my people, because their cry has come to me. Now Samuel saw Saul, and Yahweh answered him, Behold, the man of whom I spoke to you, this one shall restrict my people. Then Saul approached Samuel in the gate and said, Please tell me where the seer's house is. And Samuel answered Saul and said, I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for you shall eat with me today, and in the morning I will let you go and will tell you all that is on your heart. As for your donkeys, which were lost 3 days ago, do not set your heart on them, for they have been found. And for whom is all that is desirable in Israel? Goodness. Is it not for you and for all your father's household? And Saul answered and said, Am I not a Benjamite of the smallest of the tribes of Israel, and my family the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Why then do you speak to me in this way? Then Samuel took Saul and his young man and brought them into the chamber and gave them a place at the head of those who were invited, who were about 30 men. And Samuel said to the cook, Bring the portion that I gave you, concerning which I said to you, set it aside. Then the cook took up the leg with what was on it and set it before Saul. And Samuel said, Here is what has been reserved. Set it before you and eat, because it has been kept for you until the appointed time, since I said I have invited the people. So Saul ate with Samuel that day. Then they came down from the high place into the city, and Samuel spoke with Saul on the roof. And they arose early, and at the breaking of dawn, Samuel called to Saul on the roof, saying, Get up, that I may send you away. So Saul arose, and both he and Samuel went out into the street. As they were going down to the edge of the city, Samuel said to Saul, Say to the young man that he might pass before us and pass onwards, but you remain standing now, that I may cause you to hear the word of God. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 9. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to take a drink, and then we will carry on reading. Okay. How are you guys doing tonight? First Samuel chapter 10. We're cruising right along, which I suppose is only right after all the chaos at the beginning. Then Samuel took the flask of oil, poured it on his head, kissed him, and said, Has not Yahweh anointed you a ruler over his inheritance? When you go from me today, then you will find 2 men close to Rachel's tomb in the territory of Benjamin at Zelzah, and they will say to you, The donkeys which you went to search for have been found. Now behold, your father has ceased to be concerned about the donkeys and is anxious for you, saying, What shall I do about my son? Then you will go on further from there, and you will come as far as the oak of Tabor, and there 3 men going up to God at Bethel will meet you, one carrying 3 young goats, another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a jug of wine. And they will greet you and give you 2 loaves of bread, and you will take them from their hand. Afterward you will come to the hill of God, where the Philistine garrison is. And it shall be as soon as you have come there to the city, that you will meet a group of prophets coming down from the high place with harp, tambourine, flute, and a lyre before them. And they will be prophesying. Then the Spirit of Yahweh will come upon you mightily, and you shall prophesy with them and be changed into another man. Now it will be when these signs come to you, do for yourself whatever your hand finds to do, for God is with you. And you shall go down before me to Gilgal. And behold, I will come down to you to offer burnt offerings and sacrifice peace offerings. You shall wait 7 days until I come to you and make you know what you should do. Then it happened, when he turned his back to leave Samuel, God changed his heart, and all those signs came about on that day. And they came to the hill there, and behold, a group of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God came upon him mightily, so that he prophesied among them. Now it happened that all who knew him previously saw, and behold, he was prophesying with the prophets. So the people said to one another, What has happened to the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? And a man there answered and said, Now who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb, Is Saul also among the prophets? Then he finished prophesying and came to the high place. Now Saul's uncle said to him and his young men, Where did you go? And he said, To look for the donkeys. And we saw that they were not anywhere, so we went to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, Please tell me what Samuel said to you. So Saul said to his uncle, He told us plainly that the donkeys had been found, but he did not tell him about the matter of the kingdom which Samuel had said. Then Samuel called the people together to Yahweh at Mizpah, and he said to the sons of Israel, Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, I brought Israel up from Egypt, and I delivered you from the hand of the Egyptians and from the hand of all the kingdoms that were oppressing you. But you have today rejected your God, who saves you from all your calamities and your distresses. Yet you have said, No, but set a king over us. So now take your stand before Yahweh by your tribes and by your clans. Thus Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel near, and the tribe of Benjamin was taken by lot. Then he brought the tribe of Benjamin near by its families, and the Matrite family was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. But they looked for him, and he could not be found. Therefore they inquired further of Yahweh, Has the man come here yet? So Yahweh said, Behold, he is hiding himself by the baggage. So they ran and took him from there, and he stood among the people, and he was taller than any of the people from his shoulders upward. And Samuel said to all the people, Do you see him whom Yahweh has chosen? Surely there is no one like him among all the people. So all the people shouted and said, Long live the king. Then Samuel spoke with the people about the legal judgments of the kingdom, and wrote them in the book, and placed it before Yahweh. And Samuel sent all the people away, each one to his house. Saul also went to his house at Gibeah, and the valiant men whose hearts God had touched went with him. But certain vile men said, How can this one save us? And they despised him, and did not bring him any present, but he kept silent. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 10. Oh, like string cheese? You know what, Carla? I don't usually like it all that much, because I've always bought, like the store brand or whatever. And recently I had, what is it called? Cheese Heads or something like that. And it's so different. It's actually really good, and those are addictive. I like to have a piece of that string cheese with some pepperoni and those spicy nacho Doritos. It's like a guilty pleasure. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Oh, we are reading the book of 1 Samuel today. And I will be headed into 1 Samuel chapter 11 after I take a big swig of my Red Bull. Oh yeah, Baby Bell is good. I like Baby Bell with, now this is even worse. It's they're called Big Mama sausages. It's like a pickled sausage, and I never would have thought I would like those, but those with Baby Bell are so good. I used to eat those for my protein when I was a dialysis tech. It was just easy to scarf one down, James, good thing Saul didn't hide in a boat. Okay. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. 1 Samuel chapter 11. And Nahash the Ammonite came up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, cut a covenant with us, and we will serve you. But Nahash the Ammonite said to them, I will cut it with you on this condition, that I will gouge out the right eye of every one of you. Thus I will make it a reproach on all Israel. Then the elders of Jabesh said to him, let us alone for 7 days, that we may send messengers throughout the territory of Israel. Then if there is no one to save us, we will come out to you. Then the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul, and spoke these words in the hearing of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept. Now behold, Saul was coming from the field behind the oxen, and he said, what is the matter with the people that they weep? So they recounted to him the words of the men of Jabesh. Then the Spirit of God came upon Saul mightily when he heard these words, and he burned with anger exceedingly. I mean, I'm sitting here like just aghast. Can you imagine offering that? I guess it's kind of like when all of them agreed to be circumcised, and then the brothers came, and while they're healing from the circumcision, just took them all out because of, oh, now her name is gonna, James, I know you know who I'm talking about. I just said her name. It's, you know, the one that was taken advantage of, and her brothers were like, yeah, we're not going to do this. Somebody else probably knows too. Dinah, right? It was Dinah, I think. Then he took a pair of oxen and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout the territory of Israel by the hand of messengers, saying, whoever does not come out after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done to his oxen. Then the dread of Yahweh fell on the people, and they came out as one man. And he numbered them in Bezek, and the sons of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said to the messengers who had come, thus you shall say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you will have salvation. So the messengers went and told the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Then the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will come out to you, and you may do to us whatever seems good in your eyes. Then the next morning Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the camp at the morning watch, and struck down the Ammonites until the heat of the day. Those who survived were scattered, so that no 2 of them were left together. Then the people said to Samuel, who is he that said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men, that we may put them to death. But Saul said, not a man shall be put to death this day, for today Yahweh has accomplished salvation in Israel. Then Samuel said to the people, come and let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there. So all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before Yahweh in Gilgal. Gilgal is a really hard word to say, especially like in a sentence. There they also offered sacrifices of peace offerings before Yahweh, and there Saul and all the men of Israel were exceedingly glad. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 11. Yeah, I finally pulled it out. Tima sounds kind of like Dinah, so. Oh, I'm sorry, Carla. I'm just seeing your comment. I hope I didn't miss you. Father God, please be with Carla. Please ease her pain, Lord. Help her to rest easy and wake refreshed. We thank you for Carla, Father. In Jesus' name, amen. I hope you heard that before you went. Love you, sis. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Let me take a quick drink, and I will continue reading. I really like the Cherry Sakura Red Bull. Usually it's like an energy drink, you know, you kind of tolerate the flavor because you need the vitamins and energy and the boost that it brings. But with this, like, it's actually a really good flavor. Kind of surprises me. Okay, I'm going to drop some hashtags down in the comments of the vertical stream. Hoping we can get some attention on that one. It's funny because usually the vertical stream does like really well, like hundreds of views well, and this other stream usually only gets like up to 12 maybe, and it actually has 19 views already. And let me see what the vertical stream has. It has 12 views total in about 45 minutes. So, and that's been going on for a little over a week now. So I don't know, something, YouTube's always messing something up. or maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I didn't change anything, but you never know. I'm so glad each of you are here. God bless you. Again, if anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm just going to drop a few more in here. There we go. Okay, 1 Samuel chapter 12. Then Samuel said to all Israel, "Behold, I have listened to your voice and all that you said to me, and I have appointed a king over you. So now, here is the king walking before you, but I am old and gray, and behold, my sons are with you. And I have walked before you from my youth even to this day. Here I am, bear witness against me before Yahweh and his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose donkey have I taken, or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed, or from whose hand have I taken a bribe to blind my eyes with it? I will restore it to you." And they said, "You have not extorted us or oppressed us or taken anything from any man's hand." So he said to them, "Yahweh is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day that you have found nothing in my hand." And they said, "He is witness." Then Samuel said to the people, "It is Yahweh who appointed Moses and Aaron, and who brought your fathers up from the land of Egypt. So now, take your stand, that I may judge you before Yahweh concerning all the righteous acts of Yahweh, which he did for you and your fathers. When Jacob went into Egypt, and your fathers cried out to Yahweh, then Yahweh sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt, and settled them in this place. But they forgot Yahweh their God. So he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army of Hazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab. And they fought against them. And they cried out to Yahweh and said, "We have sinned because we have forsaken Yahweh, and have served the Baals and the Ashtaroth. But now deliver us from the hands of our enemies, and we will serve you." Then Yahweh sent Jerubbaal and Baden and Jephthah and Samuel, and he delivered you from the hands of your enemies all around, so that you lived in security. But you saw that Nahash, the king of the sons of Ammon, came against you, and you said to me, "No, but a king shall reign over us," although Yahweh your God was your king. So now, behold, the king whom you have chosen, whom you have asked for, and behold, Yahweh has set a king over you. If you will fear Yahweh and serve him and listen to his voice and not rebel against the command of Yahweh, then both you and also the king who reigns over you will follow Yahweh your God. But if you will not listen to the voice of Yahweh, but rebel against the command of Yahweh, then the hand of Yahweh will be against you, as it was against your fathers. Even now, take your stand and see this great thing which Yahweh will do before your eyes. Is it not the wheat harvest today? I will call to Yahweh that he may send thunder and rain. Then you will know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the eyes of Yahweh by asking for yourselves a king. So Samuel called to Yahweh, and Yahweh sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared Yahweh and Samuel. Then all the people said to Samuel, "Pray for your servants to Yahweh, your God, so that we may not die, for we have added to all our sins this evil by asking for ourselves a king." And Samuel said to the people, "Do not fear. You have committed all this evil, yet do not turn aside from following Yahweh, but serve Yahweh with all your heart, and you must not turn aside, for then you would go after meaningless things which cannot profit and cannot deliver because they are meaningless. For Yahweh will not abandon his people on account of his great name, because Yahweh has been pleased to make you a people for himself. Moreover, as for me, excuse me, far be it from me that I should sin against Yahweh by ceasing to pray for you, but I will instruct you in the good and upright way. Only fear Yahweh and serve him in truth with all your heart, for see what great things he has done for you. But if you still do wickedly, both you and your king will be swept away. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 12. I really like Samuel. I don't think we talk a whole lot about Samuel. You know, there's not, like, he's got his own books and everything, but he's kind of, I guess a means to an end, right? But very wise. So sorry. Always clearing my throat. I think reading out loud just kind of brings that about, because I don't have any problem any other time. God bless each of you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. I have to make a quick change on the vertical setting real quick. Details. Give me just a second. I feel like maybe I didn't select. Yep, there it is. It makes you do any of the following, describe your content. Makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't do, yada, 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 making sure it's not AI. And it doesn't let you select that option from the phone. So I've done it from the computer now. Like, is it a mobile stream or not? I was going to say phone. You know, if it's a mobile stream, I should be able to control everything from the phone, right? But alas, I cannot. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 13. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to take a drink and then we will carry on reading. Okay. Saul was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 42 years over Israel. And Saul chose for himself 3,000 men of Israel, of which 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in the hill country of Bethel, while 1,000 were with Jonathan at Gibeah of Benjamin. But he sent away the rest of the people, each to his tent. And Jonathan struck the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gibeah, and the Philistines heard of it. Then Saul blew the trumpet throughout the land, saying, "Let the Hebrews hear." Then all Israel heard the news that Saul had struck the garrison of the Philistines, and also that Israel had become odious to the Philistines. The people were then summoned to Saul at Gilgal. Now the Philistines assembled to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people like the sand which is on the seashore in abundance. And they came up and camped in Michmash, east of Beth-aven. Now the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were hard pressed. Then the people hid themselves in caves and thickets, in cliffs, in cellars, and in pits. Also some of the Hebrews crossed the Jordan into the land of Gad and Gilead. But as for Saul, he was still in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. So he waited 7 days according to the appointed time set by Samuel. But Samuel did not come to Gilgal, and the people were scattering from him. So Saul said, "Bring near to me the burnt offering and the peace offerings." And he offered the burnt offering. And as soon as he finished offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him and to greet him. But Samuel said, "What have you done?" And Saul said, "Because I saw that the people were scattering from me, and that you did not come within the appointed days, and that the Philistines were assembling at Michmash. Therefore I said, now the Philistines will come down against me at Gilgal, and I have not entreated the favor of Yahweh." So I forced myself and offered the burnt offering. And Samuel said to Saul, "You have acted foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of Yahweh your God, which he commanded you. For now Yahweh would have established your kingdom over Israel forever, but now your kingdom shall not endure. Yahweh has sought out for himself a man after his own heart, and Yahweh has appointed him as a ruler over his people, because you have not kept what Yahweh commanded you." Then Samuel arose and went up from Gilgal to Gibeah of Benjamin. And Saul numbered the people who were present with him, about 600 men. Now Saul and his son Jonathan and the people who were present with them were staying in Gibeah of Benjamin, and the Philistines camped at Michmash. And the raiders came from the camp of the Philistines in 3 companies. One company turned toward Ophrah, to the land of Shual, and another company turned to the way of Beth Horon, and another company turned to the way of the border which overlooks the valley of Zeboim, toward the wilderness. Now no blacksmith could be found in all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, "Lest the Hebrews make swords or spears." So all Israel went down to the Philistines, each to sharpen his plowshare, his mattock, his axe, and his goad. And the charge was 2/3 of a shekel for the plowshares, the mattocks, the forks, and the axes, and to fix the goad. So it happened on the day of battle that neither sword nor spear was found in the hands of any of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan, but they were found with Saul and his son Jonathan. And the garrison of the Philistines went out to the pass of Michmash. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 13. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. How are you guys doing tonight? If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to pray with you. Okay. I'm gonna, is that text easy for you guys to read in the mainstream, James? I'm gonna see if I can make it a little more clear for you. I had to, once my streaming software crashed, I had to lower the resolution it was putting out, and unfortunately that makes it a little grainy. So if I add sharpen, we'll see what that does. Sometimes that'll help, and sometimes it just makes it worse. Okay. The other thing I can do is make the actual thing bigger over on the Bible site. Yeah, there we go. That's probably a little bit better. Hopefully. It's showing what entire rectangle? Let me go up. You're in the mobile stream saying that, Rebel. Well, yeah, I mean, it's my phone screen. I mean, there's a rectangle that, if you're talking about like my merch, it pops that up. Let me see. I didn't notice it come up. I could probably close it. I'm not even sure. No, It doesn't let me close it when I'm viewing it. Sorry. Yeah. That's the only thing. If you're talking about that rectangle. Oh, you don't see that. If I zoom in, see, the thing is if I go full screen, watch. If I do the full screen on this, it turns it sideways. Oh, it didn't turn it sideways. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want the chats. Oh, that'll work, but then you can't see the chat. I guess that's okay. It's never let me do it this way before. Is that better? Tell me if you like that better, Rebel. I can leave it like that. Because you're in both, I guess. Oh, hi, Mamba. Welcome. I am reading, this is part of my cover-to-cover Bible reading. So I started in Genesis, and I'm in Samuel now. At the beginning of the year, I did a chronological Bible reading, and we finished that, and then it was requested that I read cover to cover, and that's where we're at now. Okay. All right. I'm glad you like that. I don't know why it suddenly let me do it this way. Usually, if I do full screen, it turns it sideways on me. So, I don't know. They're always changing something. Great. I'm glad you're here, Mamba. Okay. I'm going to take a quick drink, and we will read chapter 14. Okay. Now the day came that Jonathan the son of Saul said to the young man who was carrying his armor, "Come and let us cross over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side." But he did not tell his father, and Saul was staying in the outskirts of Gibeah under the pomegranate tree which is in Migron. And the people who were with him were about 600 men, and Ahijah the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the priest of Yahweh at Shiloh, was wearing an ephod. And the people did not know that Jonathan had gone. Now between the passes by which Jonathan sought to cross over to the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp crag on the one side and a sharp crag on the other side. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other Sana. The one crag rose on the north opposite Michmash, and the other on the south opposite Geba. Then Jonathan said to the young man who was carrying his armor, "Come and let us cross over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. Perhaps Yahweh will work for us, for Yahweh is not restrained to save by many or by few." And his armor bearer said to him, "Do all that is in your heart. Turn yourself, and here I am with you according to your heart." Then Jonathan said, "Behold, we will cross over to the men and reveal ourselves to them. If they say to us, 'Wait until we come to you,' then we will stand in our place and not go up to them. But if they say, 'Come up to us,' then we will go up, for Yahweh has given them into our hands, and this shall be the sign to us." So both of them revealed themselves to the garrison of the Philistines, and the Philistines said, "Behold, Hebrews are coming out of the holes where they have hidden themselves." So the men of the garrison hailed Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, "Come up to us, and we will make you know something." And Jonathan said to his armor bearer, "Come up after me, for Yahweh has given them into the hands of Israel." Then Jonathan climbed up on his hands and feet with his armor bearer behind him, and they fell before Jonathan and his armor bearer, put some to death after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men, within about half a furrow in an acre of land. And there was a trembling in the camp, in the field, and among all the people. Even the garrison and the raiders trembled, and the earth quaked, so that it became a great trembling. Nothing restrains the Lord from saving by many or by few. It's a good one, isn't it? Then Saul's watchmen in Gibeah of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went here and there. So Saul said to the people who were with him, Number now, and see who has gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer were not there. Then Saul said to Ahijah, Bring the ark of God here, for the ark of God was at that time with the sons of Israel. And it happened that while Saul talked to the priest, the commotion in the camp of the Philistines continued and increased. So Saul said to the priest, Withdraw your hand. Then Saul and all the people who were with him rallied and came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was very great confusion. Now the Hebrews who were with the Philistines previously, who went up with them all around in the camp, even they also turned to be with the Israelites who were with Saul and Jonathan. Now all the men of Israel who had hidden themselves in the hill country of Ephraim heard that the Philistines had fled, and they pursued them closely in the battle. So Yahweh saved Israel that day, and the battle spread beyond Beth-aben. Now the men of Israel were hard pressed on that day, and Saul had put the people under oath, saying, Cursed be the man who eats food before evening, and until I have avenged myself on my enemies. So none of the people tasted food. Now all the people of the land entered the forest, and there was honey on the ground. So the people entered the forest, and behold, there was a flow of honey, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the sworn oath. But Jonathan had not heard when his father put the people under a sworn oath. Therefore he put out the end of the staff that was in his hand, and dipped it in the honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes brightened. Then one of the people answered and said, Your father strictly put the people under a sworn oath, saying, Cursed be the man who eats food today. And the people were weary. Then Jonathan said, My father has troubled the land. See now how my eyes have brightened because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more if only the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies, which they found. For now the slaughter among the Philistines has not been great. Then they struck among the Philistines that day from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were very weary. So the people rushed greedily upon the spoil, and they took sheep and oxen and calves and slaughtered them on the ground, and the people ate them with the blood. Then they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people are sinning against Yahweh by eating with the blood. And he said, You have acted treacherously. Roll a great stone to me today. And Saul said, Scatter yourselves among the people, and say to them, Each one of you bring me his ox or his sheep, and slaughter it here and eat, and do not sin against Yahweh by eating with the blood. So all the people that night brought each one his ox with him, and slaughtered it there. And Saul built an altar to Yahweh. It was the first altar that he built to Yahweh. Then Saul said, Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and take spoil among them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, Do whatever seems good in your eyes. So the priests said, Let us draw near to God here. And Saul asked of God, Shall I go down after the Philistines? Will you give them into the hand of Israel? But he did not answer him on that day. And Saul said, Draw near here, all you chiefs of the people, and know and see how this sin has happened today. For as Yahweh lives, who saves Israel, though it is in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But not one of all the people answered him. Then he said to all Israel, You shall be on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said to Saul, Do what seems good in your eyes. Therefore Saul said to Yahweh, the God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. And Jonathan and Saul were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, Cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken. Then Saul said to Jonathan, Tell me what you have done. So Jonathan told him and said, I indeed tasted a little honey with the end of the staff that was in my hand. Here I am, I must die. And Saul said, May God do this to me and more also, for you shall surely die, Jonathan. But the people said to Saul, Must Jonathan die, who has brought about this great salvation in Israel? Far from it. As Yahweh lives, not one hair of his head shall fall to the ground, for he has worked with God this day. So the people redeemed Jonathan, and he did not die. Then Saul went up from pursuing the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. Now Saul had taken the kingdom over Israel, and he fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, the sons of Ammon, Edom, and the kings. Sorry, let me start again. On every side, against Moab, the sons of Ammon, Edom, the kings of Zobah, and the Philistines, and wherever he turned, he inflicted punishment. And he acted valiantly and struck down the Amalekites and delivered Israel from the hands of those who plundered them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishvi and Malchishua, and the names of his 2 daughters were these: the name of the firstborn, Merab, and the name of the younger, Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. Ahimaaz, one of those. Or probably not, actually. And the name of the commander of his army was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. Now the war against the Philistines was severe all the days of Saul, and Saul would see any mighty man or any man of valor and would gather him to his staff. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 14. Excuse me. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Give me just a second to take a drink, and I will carry on into the next chapter. All right. First Samuel chapter 15. Then Samuel said to Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint you as king over his people, over Israel. So now, obey the voice of the words of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, I will punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he set himself against him on the way while he was coming up from Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that he has, and do not spare him, but put to death both man and woman, infant and nursing baby, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. Then Saul summoned the people and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to the city of Amalek and set an ambush in the valley. And Saul said to the Kenites, Go, depart, go down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. You showed loving kindness to all the sons of Israel when they came up from Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. So Saul struck the Amalekites from Haviah as you go to Shur, which is east of Egypt. And he seized Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and devoted to destruction all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep, the oxen, the fatlings, the lambs, and all that was good, and they were not willing to devote them to destruction, but everything despised and worthless that they utterly destroyed. Then the word of Yahweh came to Samuel, saying, I regret that I have made Saul king, for he has turned back from following me and has not established my words. And Samuel became angry and cried out to Yahweh all night. Then Samuel rose early in the morning to meet Saul. And it was told to Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set up a monument for himself, then turned and proceeded on down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said to him, Blessed are you of Yahweh. I have established the word of Yahweh. But Samuel said, What then is the sound of the sheep in my ears, and the sound of the oxen which I am hearing? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and oxen to sacrifice to Yahweh your God, but the rest we have devoted to destruction. Then Samuel said to Saul, Wait and let me tell you what Yahweh spoke to me last night. And he said to him, Speak. And Samuel said, Is it not true, though you were little in your own eyes, you were made the head of the tribes of Israel? And Yahweh anointed you king over Israel, and Yahweh sent you on a mission and said, Go and devote to destruction the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they are consumed. Why then did you not obey the voice of Yahweh, but rushed upon the spoil and did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh? Then Saul said to Samuel, I did obey the voice of Yahweh and went on the way on which Yahweh sent me, and have brought back Agag, the king of Amalek, and have devoted the Amalekites to destruction. But the people took some of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the choicest of the things devoted to destruction, to sacrifice to Yahweh your God at Gilgal. And that blows me away because they couldn't even sacrifice something that had a blemish, a spot where it shouldn't be. So, of course, he doesn't want just anything sacrificed to him, right? And Samuel said, Has Yahweh as much delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and insubordination is as wickedness and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh, he has also rejected you from being king. Then Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned. I have indeed trespassed against the command of Yahweh and your words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. So now, please forgive my sin and return with me, that I may worship Yahweh. But Samuel said to Saul, I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of Yahweh, and Yahweh has rejected you from being king over Israel. Then Samuel turned to go, but Saul seized the edge of his robe, and it tore. So Samuel said to him, Yahweh has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to your neighbor, who is better than you. Also the Eternal One of Israel will not lie or have regret, for he is not a man that he should have regret. Then he said, I have sinned, but please honor me now before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me, that I may worship Yahweh your God. So Samuel returned, following after Saul, and Saul worshipped Yahweh. Then Samuel said, Bring Agag near to me, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came to him in chains. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death has departed. But Samuel said, As your sword has made women childless, so shall your mother be childless among women. And Samuel hacked Agag to pieces before Yahweh at Gilgal. Then Samuel said to Ramah, but Saul went to Ramah, but Saul went up to his house at Gibeah of Saul. So Samuel did not see Saul again until the day of his death, for Samuel grieved over Saul, and Yahweh regretted that he had made Saul king over Israel. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 15. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. We will be headed on to 1 Samuel chapter 16 here in just a second. I'm just going to take a quick drink. I see we have quite a few people. If you're new, I would sure love it if you would subscribe to the channel and share to anybody who might want to hear the Word of God read aloud. Also, in the pinned comment, you can find the link to our Discord if you'd like to join the God Squad over there. Trying to build a community. The whole iron sharpens iron thing really does ring true. In these times especially, we need community, a place we can go for prayer and and accountability and things like that. And we would love to have you over there. We do movie nights sometimes, and we also have prayer, and we have a funny section and art, all sorts of different things over there. We would love to get to know you. 1 Samuel chapter 16. Then Yahweh said to Samuel, "How long will you be grieving over Saul? I have rejected him from being king over Israel. Fill your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I see among his sons a king for me." But Samuel said, "How can I go? Saul will hear of it and will kill me." Then Yahweh said, "Take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh. And you shall invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will make you know what you shall do. And you shall anoint for me the one whom I say to you." So Samuel did what Yahweh said and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the city came trembling to meet him and said, "Do you come in peace?" And he said, "In peace I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh. Set yourselves apart as holy and come with me to the sacrifice." He also set apart Jesse and his sons as holy and invited them to the sacrifice. Now it happened, when they entered, he looked at Eliab and thought, "Surely the anointed of Yahweh is before him." But Yahweh said to Samuel, "Do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For God sees not as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks at the heart." Praise God for that. Because ain't nobody choosing me. Although, the heart is deceitful above all else, right? But if Jesus is in it, it's got some beauty in there for sure, right? Thank you. I love it when you paste the key verses for me, Rebel. That's wonderful. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, "Yahweh has not chosen this one either." Next, Jesse made Shammah pass by, and he said, "Yahweh has not chosen this one either." Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, "Yahweh has not chosen these." And Samuel said to Jesse, "Are these all the young men?" And he said, "There remains yet the youngest, and behold, he is shepherding the sheep." Then Samuel said to Jesse, "Send and bring him, for we will not turn around until he comes here." So he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, with beautiful eyes and a handsome appearance. And Yahweh said, "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers, and the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon David from that day forward. And Samuel arose and went to Ramah. Excuse me. Now the Spirit of Yahweh departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from Yahweh terrorized him. Saul's servants then said to him, "Behold, now an evil spirit from God is terrorizing you. Let our Lord now speak to your servants who are before you. Let them seek a man who is a skillful musician on the harp. And it shall be that when the evil spirit from God is on you, he shall play the harp with his hand, and you will be well." So Saul said to his servants, "Provide for me now a man who can play well, and bring him to me." Then one of the young men answered and said, "Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, who is a skillful musician." Keep tripping over my lips here. "A mighty man of valor, a warrior, one who is understanding in speech, and man of fine form. And Yahweh is with him." So Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, "Send me your son David, who is with the flock." And Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread and a wineskin of wine and a young goat, and sent them to Saul by David his son. Then David came to Saul and stood before him, and Saul loved him greatly, and he became his armor bearer. So Saul sent to Jesse, saying, "Let David now stand before me, for he has found favor in my sight." Thus it happened that whenever the evil spirit from God came to Saul, David would take the harp and play it with his hand, and Saul would be refreshed and be well, and the evil spirit would depart from him. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 16. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, give me a quick second here to enlarge I need to transform the Bible text real quick. Okay. Yeah, the streaming software updated. I think that's what happened. It's like it did an update in the middle of me starting my stream or something, because everything's different now. Wow. Interesting. See if this will fix it. No. There, I think. It's hard because I'm trying to make it so you guys can see it clearly, but that means I have to have the text really big. So as I'm reading, literally there's there's like 3 lines I can see. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Let me know if this is big enough for you to see. I'm going to move things around here real quick. Center vertically, and then I just need to make my prayer thing smaller. There. How is that? Are you guys able to see that okay? God opposes the proud and exalts the humble, and his covenant purposes will be fulfilled regardless of human failure. Amen. Okay. Okay, here we go. 1 Samuel chapter 17. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Now the Philistines gathered their camps for battle, and they were gathered at Soko, which belongs to Judah, and they camped between Soko and Azekah in Ephes-Dammim. But Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and camped in the valley of Elah, and arranged themselves for battle to meet the Philistines. So sorry. Now the Philistines stood on the mountain on one side, while Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, with the valley between them. Then a champion came out from the camps of the Philistines, named Goliath, from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And he had a bronze helmet on his head, and he was clothed with scale armor, and the weight of that scale armor was 5,000 shekels of bronze. He also had bronze greaves on his legs, and a bronze javelin slung between his shoulders. And the shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and the head of his spear weighed 600 shekels of iron. His shield carrier also walked before him. And he stood and called out to the battle lines of Israel and said to them, "Why do you come out to arrange yourselves for battle? Am I not the Philistine, and you slaves of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight with me and strike me down, then we will become your slaves. But if I prevail against him and strike him down, then you shall become our slaves and serve us." Again the Philistines said, "I openly reproach the battle lines of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." Then Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine. They were dismayed. Sorry, that was when, not then. They were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now David was the son of the Ephrathite of Bethlehem in Judah, whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. And Jesse was old in the days of Saul, advanced in years among men. And the 3 older sons of Jesse had gone. They had gone after Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons who went to the battle were Eliab the firstborn, and the second to him Abinadab, and the third Shammah. But David was the youngest. Now the three oldest had gone after Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to shepherd his father's flock at Bethlehem. Then the Philistine approached morning and evening for 40 days and took his stand. Then Jesse said to David his son, "Take now for your brothers an ephah of this roasted grain and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to your brothers. You shall also bring these 10 cuts of cheese to the commander of their 1,000, and look into the welfare of your brothers, and bring back a token from them." And Saul and they and all the men of Israel are in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. So David arose early in the morning and left the flock with a keeper and carried the supplies and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the circle of the camp while the military force was going out in battle lines shouting the war cry. And Israel and the Philistines arranged themselves in battle line against battle line. Then David left his baggage in the care of the baggage keeper and ran to the battle line and entered in order to greet his brothers. As he was speaking with them, behold, the champion, the Philistine from Gath, named Goliath, was coming up from the battle lines of the Philistines, and he spoke these same words, and David heard them. Now all the men of Israel saw the man, and they fled from him and were greatly afraid. And the men of Israel said, "Have you seen this man who is coming up? Surely he is coming up to reproach Israel. And it will be that the king will enrich the man who strikes him down with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel." Then David spoke to the men who were standing by him, saying, "What will be done for the man who strikes down this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should reproach the battle lines of the living God?" And the people spoke to him in accord with this word, saying, "Thus it will be done for the man who strikes him down." Then Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spoke to the man, and Eliab's anger burned against David. And he said, "Why have you come down? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I myself know your arrogance and the wickedness of your heart, for you have come down in order to see the battle." But David said, "What have I done now? Was it not just a word?" Then he turned away from him to another and said the same word, and the people responded to him with the same word as before. Then the words which David spoke were heard, and they told them to Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail on account of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine." Then Saul said to David, "You are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth, and while he has been a warrior from his youth." But David said to Saul, "Your servant was shepherding his father's sheep, and a lion and a bear would come and take a lamb from the flock, and I would go out after it and strike it and rescue the lamb from its mouth. Then it rose up against me, and I would seize it by its beard and strike it down and put it to death. Your servant has struck down both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, since he has reproached the battle lines of the living God." And David said, "Yahweh, who delivered me from the hand of the lion and from the hand of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "Go, and may Yahweh be with you." Then Saul clothed David with his robes and put a bronze helmet on his head, and he clothed him with armor. And David girded his sword over his armor and tried to walk, for he had not tested them. So David said to Saul, "I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them." And David took them off. Then he took his stick in his hand and chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in the shepherd's bag which he had, even in his pouch. And his sling was in his hand, and he approached the Philistine. Then the Philistine came on and drew near to David, with the shield bearer in front of him. And the Philistine looked and saw David, and he despised him, for he was but a youth and ruddy, with a handsome appearance. And the Philistine said to David, "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. The Philistine also said to David, "Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, "You come to me with a sword, a spear, and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the God of the battle lines of Israel, whom you have reproached. This day Yahweh will deliver you up into my hands, and I will strike you down and remove your head from you. And I will give you the dead bodies of the camp of the Philistines this day to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that Yahweh does not save by sword or by spear, for the battle is Yahweh's, and he will give you into our hands." Excuse me, sorry. Let me see, I'm going to check the comments. The idea behind looked about is almost that Goliath had to look around to find David. Yeah. David was so small compared to, yeah, exactly. That's kind of funny to picture. Did you see the preview? I put for a preview on this live stream or trailer or whatever they call it, a video I made like a year and a half ago or something like that. It's like a cinematograph. I have several versions of that one. I'm not sure which one is on there, but I was really proud of that when I made it, because I was new to making videos in general, and animation is not my strong suit. Okay. Then it happened when the Philistine rose and came and drew near to meet David, that David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. And David sent his hand down into his bag and took from it a stone and slung it and struck the Philistine on his forehead. And the stone sank into his forehead, so that he fell on his face to the ground. Thus David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and he struck the Philistine and put him to death. But there was no sword in David's hand. Then David ran and stood over the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of its sheath and put him to death and cut off his head with it. Then the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, so they fled. But the men of Israel and Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines as far as the valley and to the gates of Ekron. And the slain Philistines lay fallen along the way to Shaaraim. It's hard to get that I in there. Even to Gath and Ekron. Then the sons of Israel returned from hotly pursuing the Philistines and plundered their camps. And David took the Philistines' head and brought it to Jerusalem, but he put his weapons in his tent. Now when Saul saw David going out to meet the Philistine, he said to Abner, the commander of the army, "Abner, whose son is this young man?" And Abner said, "By your life, O king, I do not know." And the king said, "You inquire whose son the youth is." So when David returned from striking down the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the Philistine's head in his hand. And Saul said to him, "Whose son are you, young man?" And David answered, "I am the son of your servant Jesse the Bethlehemite." And that was chapter 17 of 1 Samuel. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. Yeah, well, I can imagine, that it would feel that way. Like they have no no faith in you at all, or whatever, that they would send this little guy when you're huge and very good in battle and all that. Excuse me. Yes. Yep, exactly. I love that part when Dagon, the statue, falls. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm gonna drink some more of my Red Bull here and then continue on reading. Oh, it's like a commentary? I'm going to pull it up. Oh, cool. I'll have to check this out. Thanks. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 18. If anybody needs prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always more than happy to pray with you. Now it happened when he had finished speaking to Saul that the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day and did not let him return to his father's house. Then Jonathan cut a covenant with David because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David, with his armor, even his sword and his bow and his belt. So David went out wherever Saul sent him and prospered, and Saul set him over the men of war. And it was pleasing in the eyes of all the people, and also in the eyes of Saul's servants. And it happened as they were coming, when David returned from striking down the Philistine, that the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul, with tambourines, with gladness, and with musical instruments. And the women sang as they were merry, and said, Saul has struck his thousands, and David his 10,000s. Then Saul became very angry, for this saying was displeasing in his eyes. And he said, They have ascribed to David 10,000s, but to me they have ascribed thousands. Hello, Easy. Hi, Diddly Dee.
Hello.
Rebel is here.
Hi, Rebel.
And James is here.
Hi, James.
I'm not sure who else is here right now. Most are just listening. Now, what more can he have but the kingdom? So Saul looked at David with suspicion from that day on. Now it happened on the next day that an evil spirit from God came mightily upon Saul, and he raved in the midst of the house. Now David was playing the harp with his hand, as usual, and a spear was in Saul's hand. Then Saul hurled the spear, for he thought, I will pin David to the wall. But David escaped from his presence twice. And Saul was afraid of David, for Yahweh was with him, but had turned away from Saul. Therefore Saul turned him away from his presence, and appointed him as his commander of 1,000, and he went out and came in before the people. And David was prospering in all his ways, and Yahweh was with him. Then Saul saw that he was prospering greatly, so he dreaded him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, for he went out and came in before them. Then Saul said to David, Here is my oldest daughter, Merab. I will give her to you as a wife. Only be a man of valor for me, and fight Yahweh's battles. For Saul thought, My hand shall not be against him, but let the hand of the Philistines be against him. But David said to Saul, Who am I, and what is my life or my father's family in Israel, that I should be the king's son-in-law? So it happened at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given to Adriel the Meholathite as a wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. So they told Saul, and the thing was right in his eyes. And Saul said, I will give her to him, that she may become a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Therefore Saul said to David, For a second time you may be my son-in-law today. Then Saul commanded his servants, Speak to David secretly, saying, Behold, the king delights in you, and all his servants love you. So now become the king's son-in-law. So Saul's servants spoke these words in David's hearing. But David said, Is it trivial in your eyes to become the king's son-in-law, since I am a poor man and lightly esteemed? And the servants of Saul told to him according to these words which David spoke. Saul then said, Thus you shall say to David, The king does not desire any dowry except 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to take vengeance on the king's enemies. Now Saul planned to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. Then his servants told David these words, and it was right in the eyes of David to become the king's son-in-law. So before the days had expired, David rose up and went, he and his men, and struck down 200 men among the Philistines. Then David brought their foreskins, and they gave him in full number to the king, that he might become the king's son-in-law. So Saul gave him Michal his daughter as a wife. Then Saul saw and knew that Yahweh was with David, and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. So Saul was even more afraid of David. So Saul was David's enemy continually. Then the commanders of the Philistines went out to battle, and it happened as often as they went out that David behaved himself more insightfully than all the servants of Saul, so his name was highly esteemed. And that was 1 Samuel chapter 18. Welcome to those just coming in. God bless you. If you need prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. Come here, kitten. Here, you want to snuggle while I read? I would love to hold you. Then Saul spoke with Jonathan his son and all his servants to put David to death. But Jonathan, Saul's son, greatly delighted in David. Come here. You want to go over here? There you go. All right, sweet girl. So Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, is seeking to put you to death. So now, please be careful in the morning and stay in a secret place and hide yourself. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I will speak with my father about you. What I perceive, I will tell you. Then Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, Do not let the king sin against his servant David, since he has not sinned against you, and since his works have been very good for you. For he took his life in his hand and struck the Philistine, and Yahweh brought about a great salvation for all Israel. You saw it and were glad. What did you find on the desk? Something to knock off, huh? Why then will you sin against innocent blood by putting David to death without a cause? And Saul listened to the voice of Jonathan, and Saul swore, As Yahweh lives, he shall not be put to death. Then Jonathan called David, and Jonathan told him all these words. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as formerly. Then there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines and struck them with a great slaughter, so that they fled before him. Now there was an evil spirit from Yahweh on Saul, as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand, and David was playing the harp with his hand. And Saul tried to pin David to the wall with a spear, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence, so that he struck the spear into the wall. And David fled and escaped that night. Then Saul sent messengers to David's house to keep watch over him, in order to put him to death in the morning. But Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If you do not make an escape for your life tonight, tomorrow you will be put to death. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went out and fled and escaped. Then Michal took the household idol and laid it on the bed and put a quilt of goat's hair at its head and covered it with clothes. Then Saul sent messengers to take David, but she said, He is sick. So Saul sent messengers to see David, saying, Bring him up to me on his bed, that I may put him to death. The messengers came, and behold, the household idol was on the bed with a quilt of goat's hair at its head. So Saul said to Michal, Why have you deceived me like this and let my enemy go, so that he has escaped? And Michal said to Saul, He said to me, Let me go. Why should I put you to death? Now David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel at Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and stayed in Naioth. And it was told to Saul, saying, Behold, David is at Naioth in Ramah. Then Saul sent messengers to take David, but they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, with Samuel standing and presiding over them. And the Spirit of God came upon the messengers of Saul, and they also prophesied. This was told to Saul, and he sent other messengers, and they also prophesied. So Saul sent messengers again the third time, and they also prophesied. Then he himself went to Ramah, and came as far as the large well that is in Secu. And he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And someone said, Behold, they are at Naioth and Ramah. So he went there to Naioth and Ramah, and the Spirit of God came upon him also, so that he went along prophesying continually until he came to Naioth and Ramah. He also stripped off his clothes, and he too prophesied before Samuel, and lay down naked all that day and all that night. Therefore they say, is Saul also among the prophets? And that was chapter 19. And that is where I'm going to leave off at tonight. And next time we will pick up at chapter 20. Thank all of you for being here tonight. I'm sorry I was tripping over my lips half of the time and that there was such a hassle at the beginning with the technical difficulties, but I appreciate you. God bless you and have a wonderful night. Sleep tight and dream sweet. God bless. Bye-bye.